This is a time lapse of a full day of work. Mitch and I are laying out the walls for the ground floor entry. And you can see we are running around taking measurements and locating where we need to drill into the concrete and set some all-thread rods for anchors into the concrete. We're going to drill 5/8 inch holes and then put either 8-inch, 12-inch, or 16-inch all threads into the concrete, depending on what kind of a connector we're going to use. Right now you can see me drilling a 5/8 by 11-inch hole, and that will take a 16-inch all thread that is going to be used for a HD2 hold down bracket, and that is a shear wall that is designed to hold the house stable against wind, earthquakes, and any kind of motion. And so we have one heavy HDU bracket at each end of that 2x4, and then the wall will have plywood on one side. So you can see we have a lot of running around and taking measurements, double checking, making sure everything is right where it's supposed to go. We're double checking our measurements around the black sewer pipe there because it has a little bit of an angle to it, and we want to make sure that we do not drill into the pipe. That would not be a good thing. So we take the air hose and blow dust, debris out of those holes after we finish drilling, and then I will fill it with epoxy here in a minute, and then set the all-thread rods into the holes. You can see Teddy running around helping. Mitch is on the phone checking his horse racing. Okay, now you see I'm blowing out the rest of the holes, getting the board where it needs to be. Mitch is squirting epoxy into the holes. And now we are driving the all threads down into the holes and into the epoxy, and then the epoxy will squeeze up between the all thread and the wall of the hole, and then in 24 hours it will harden into a very strong hold. So we are just discussing some of the plans with the homeowner. It's a very high level discussion. We have 2 dogs out there now. So we're taking measurements from the plan and just making sure that we have all the holes drilled in just the right space, right place. Now I'm going to run a string line down the length of the room, and we're going to drill holes in a couple of locations along that string line, and we want that perfectly straight through the length of the house. So where we're at right now, there are 2 ABU 44 post bases that will go there, and those 2 together will be holding one 4x8 post, and that will go up to and support a 7-inch by 11 7/8 inch wide beam. So right now I'm measuring out and plotting where the footing locations are on that other wall. There were 3 footings under that, and then we'll run some anchors, all threads into epoxy in that wall too. So Mitch is busy drilling the holes down at that end. Okay, so we're blowing the holes out and getting ready to put the epoxy into the holes, and then drive the all threads down into those holes. Mitch is drilling the holes in the board right there now. It takes about 10 minutes to drill into the concrete for those holes. 10 minutes per hole. Sometimes a little faster, sometimes a little longer. Sometimes when you're drilling the holes, you'll hit a rock, and the rock will bust up, and then fragments of the rock will jam the drill bit in the concrete, and then you have to figure out how to get the drill bit out of the concrete, because it'll be locked up into the concrete. So right now I'm drilling 2 holes over at that end of the house, and then I'll put 2 of the ABU 44 brackets in at this end. Okay, so I set the camera up so you can get a little better of an angle on drilling the hole. So this time lapse is at a speed of 1 frame every half second. And there goes the epoxy into the holes. So I have to make sure to have enough epoxy in there to fill the void in the hole around the L-thread. As we push the L-thread in, the epoxy squeezes its way up. So we want to have just enough that some will splooge out the top, but not too much. And this is the other 2 holes in the middle of the garage, and we're filling those now. And here we are at the end of the day. Okay. We put in our ABU 44 post brackets. You can see those being drilled and epoxied in place in the time lapse. This tall one is where an HDU2 goes. Same with this tall one here, and there just happens to be an HDU2 hold down bracket. This is the shear wall. And so we have the several bolts holding that in place. And a few bolts on the other side of the stairwell too. But this is beginning to take shape now. This is the entry to the garage. We have a people door here, a little entry closet here, and then a stairway that goes up to the 2nd floor. And then this here is going to be a workbench along that wall. And then there will be another workbench area along the south wall. And over here we have 2 more ABU 44 post brackets, saddles. And we have those 2 in lieu of a single CB post base. So things are coming along. It was a pretty good week. We got our concrete done this week. You can see the entrance forming. There is the entranceway into the basement level. Those are the stairs that were poured. Wall. There is the new walkway. So things are coming along nicely.